G'day everyone. Luke 22 starts here. Now the feast of unleavened bread, called the Passover, was approaching, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law were looking for some way to get rid of Jesus, for they were afraid of the people. Then Satan entered Judas, called Iscariot, one of the 12. And Judas went to the chief priests and the officers of the temple guard and discussed with them how he might betray Jesus. They were delighted and agreed to give him money. He consented and watched for an opportunity to hand Jesus over to them when no crowd was present. Then came the day of unleavened bread on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, "Go and make preparations for us to eat the Passover." "Where do you want us to prepare for it?" they asked. He replied, "As you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters and say to the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks, where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large upper room, all furnished. Make preparations there." They left and found things just as Jesus had told them. So they prepared the Passover. When the hour came, Jesus and his apostles reclined at the table, and he said to them, "I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of God." After taking the cup, he gave thanks and said, "Take this and divide it among you. For I tell you, I will not drink again of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes." And he took bread, gave thanks, and broke it, and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. But the hand of him who is going to betray me is with mine on the table. The Son of Man will go as it has been decreed, but woe to that man who betrays him." They began to question among themselves which of them it would be that would do this.
We're continuing from verse 24. Also a dispute arose among them as to which of them was considered to be the greatest. Jesus said to them, "The kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who is at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who is at the table? But I am among you as one who serves. You are those who have stood by me in my trials, and I confer on you a kingdom, just as my Father conferred one on me, so that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers." But he replied, "Lord, I am ready to go with you to prison and to death." Jesus answered, "I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me." Then Jesus asked them, "When I sent you out without purse, bag, or sandals, did you lack anything?" "Nothing," they answered. He said to them, "But now if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. It is written, 'And he was numbered with the transgressors.' And I tell you that this must be fulfilled in me. Yes, What is written about me is reaching its fulfillment." The disciples said, "See, Lord, here are 2 swords." "That is enough," he replied.
The mood is different. We could all feel it. Jesus is pensive and troubled. None of us have seen him quite like this before. We'd shared a Passover meal together before, but this time Jesus had said things about the bread and the wine which made us wonder. "This is my body given for you. This cup is the new covenant in my blood which is poured out for you." What did he mean? And then there was that betrayal thing. "Woe to the man who betrays him," is what he said. But who of us would want to betray him? It just didn't make sense. Because of all his talk about the kingdom of God which was coming, we'd begun to talk amongst ourselves about the positions we would have in that kingdom. Jesus himself would be the king, the Messiah, there was no doubt about that. But who would be his right-hand man? Who would be the highest court officials? Would we all find a place amongst the king's highest regarded advisors and confidants? And who would be the greatest of them? Now, Jesus had overheard us and had given us a little lecture about the nature of true greatness. But even that didn't make too much sense. Jesus had challenged our thinking about things more than once before. In fact, over the last 3 years, it had probably happened most days we had spent with him. But this time, it didn't seem to be quite what we expected, even though by now we were well used to the unexpected. "Don't be like the Gentiles," he said. "They exercise authority as you'd expect, giving orders and then demanding obedience to those orders." By contrast, he had said to us, "You aren't to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves." What could that mean? Ruling by serving? The whole concept was absurd. Then it had got better for us. He said to us, "I confer on you a kingdom, so that you may eat and drink at my table and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel." There were 12 of us, so it fitted well. Eating and drinking at his table, sitting on the thrones and exercising judgment over all the tribes of Israel, telling everyone what else to do and what to say. Now that was more like it. But then the conversation turned again, and surprisingly the focus was now on me, Peter, as Jesus turned to me. For Jesus said to me that my faith would not fail, and that Satan was alive and well, and determinedly coming after me. But I wasn't scared. I'd been promised a seat on one of the thrones, so nothing could deter me now. I'd show Jesus that he hadn't made a poor choice inviting me to such a high position of greatness and trust. I was confident that I could live up to greatness, and nothing could stand in the way of all that was due to me from Jesus' hand. Peter the Great has a good sound to it. I was already imagining just what greatness would feel like, and beginning to wonder exactly what I might do with so much authority and significance. I was feeling pretty good because I knew I was not just one of the 12, but one of the 3 who were been closest to Jesus. And hadn't John and I just been asked by Jesus to set up this Passover? Surely I would be in for a special reward and have one of the very top jobs. Peter the Great. That's what they will call me. That's who I will be. And that's how my name will be recorded in history for everyone for all time to remember. It was so close, I could feel it. I could sense it with every fibre of my being. It was as if I could touch it and grasp it for myself. The words came easily to my mouth. "Lord, I'm ready to go with you to prison and to death." "You can count on me, Jesus. Peter the Great won't let you down." But Jesus responded to my claims with the words, "Before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me." How could this possibly be? Surely Jesus has got this wrong. I told him, "It won't happen. You can trust me. I'm Peter the Great." I claimed a greatness I didn't understand. Later, I would have the chance to reflect on my claims and wonder about the nature of true greatness.